This is Health Unfiltered, the podcast where we cut through the bullshit and get honest about fitness, nutrition, and mental wellness.
Dr. Robb, welcome. How's it going?
Thank you, man. It's going good, man. Great to be with you, Josh.
It's a pleasure to have you on today. Uh, in this episode, we'll be discussing addiction, trauma, and somatic experiencing and brain spotting as ways to cope. But before we get into it, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself so we can get to know you a little bit better?
Yeah, so hey, guys, my name is Dr. Robb Kelly. I specialize in depression, PTSD, drug addiction, alcoholism, and childhood trauma. We have 5 offices around the world. I'm based in San Antonio, Texas, though I'm in Vegas right now. Um, and we just help people, man. We've done about 9,000 people over the last 25 years or so, and love what we do because we do what we love. So I have a staff of about 12, 13 people all around the world. Do a lot of TV, got books out there, all the great stuff. But I think one of the reasons why I still do what I do, and especially podcasts, which are hand chosen today, by the way. They're not just anybody that comes. So Courtney must have seen something on here that she loves, so which is awesome. So yeah, I just we come on here to inspire people, not to sell our services. We don't need any more money, thank you, or any patients. We're just there to help, give free advice, and if anybody needs a book at the end, go find my book. I don't buy it. Message me. You can find me, Dr. Robb Kelly, ROBBKELLY, and I'll send you a free copy. I'll sign it and pay for the shipping.
How sweet of you. That's awesome. I love what you're doing, and I'm really happy to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you, man.
So, is having an addictive personality a real thing?
Yeah, it is. So what we found, what you're going to hear today, guys, is the latest neuroscience. We're kind of the leaders in the neuroscience field when it comes to alcoholism and addiction and all the stuff we mentioned. So all the research is pretty new that other people either don't believe or don't want to do. But when we're sat here with a 98% success rate, with 9,000 patients, and we're the only company in the world to offer a money back guarantee, then you got to listen up. So the addictive personality, yeah, it's 100% true. And the way to spot this, if you have the addictive personality and you start taking drugs, like 90% of people who come to us with a heroin addiction started in the doctor's office.
Mm,
So yeah, the addictive personality is, many people with the addictive personality will start something but not finish it because they'll go into the next thing. So you see these people in business, the entrepreneurs, the billionaires, the millionaires, but when we're stuck in the cycle of addiction, we just can't stop. So alcoholics are born and drug addicts are made. And
mm,
that usually freaks people out. But yeah, it's a real thing, man.
that's wild. So, is alcoholism it's genetic or is it
Yeah,
just something you're predisposed to?
you are. It's a predisposition. It's passed down from generation. If you think you're an alcoholic or drinking too much, if you cannot trace 3 generations back with alcoholism there, then you abuse alcohol. There's always a trace back. It may skip a generation or two, but it's always there because we're born with an allergy, and the allergy is that we're allergic to the ethanol in alcohol. And 3 parts of the brain differ than any other addiction. So, and then 3 parts of the brain reset every 24 hours. Hence, where they all saying in AA 24 hours at a time, it's not an AA thing. It goes way before that. But yeah, it's a real thing. And the first time you take alcohol inside your body, having the predisposition, all bets are off. It's just a matter of time. Now you can stop leading up to that, crossing that invisible line to drinking alcoholically. Or
Hmm.
most people who think they're an alcoholic, or most people who think their friend's an alcoholic, they're not an alcoholic. It's not. You can't drink yourself into becoming an alcoholic, but you can take enough drugs to become a drug addict. That's as simple as that.
Right. Yeah, that's really interesting. Um, I mean, how does addiction differ from a habit or dependence?
Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's that we've got to go to the, and I'll get technical, guys. We've got to go to the basal ganglia in the brain. The basal ganglia is our repetition, strength, and confirms. So if I wanted to go fly a commercial plane, they tell me I have to have 10,000 hours in the air. If I want to drive a car, I've got to have the equivalent of my age in hours practice. And what that does is the repetition of the brain. So the basal ganglia picks it up, and it's how many times it goes around the circle before it becomes a working part of the mind. So when we first start driving, for instance, we're getting our first lesson, the car's huge, in case we hit anybody, it's just horrible. But after a few months, we pass the test, we can do it without even thinking. We can reverse down the driveway, listening to loud music, trying to talk to your mom, waving to the girlfriend, all at the same time, because it's a working part of the mind. So when that happens, it's almost impossible to break. Keeping someone away from drugs and alcohol will not do it. 30 days stay in the treatment center with no real work does not do it. That's why the treatment centers are around 3, 4, 5%. I don't know, I'm being generous. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I've struggled with addiction, all kinds of things. I mean, a lot of cannabis use growing up, and even more recently, exercise and nutrition is kind of my new addiction. And it
Same here.
seems like it's the same. But it's interesting, how can people break that cycle?
Again, you've got to look at the patterns. Everything is in life is about math and patterns. So everybody has patterns that they jump into. The one I always give is, if you go out for the day to the coast with a bunch of guys on a bus, you all get on the bus, you're drinking, you're having a great time, you go down to the coast, you get out, go and see some stuff, you're laughing, drinking beer, it's amazing. You get back on the bus, which seat you were sitting. 9 out of 10 times it's the one you traveled there in. So that's a pattern that there are all complex patterns around us that we just don't see. So we have to start breaking that. So the way we break it, I mean, there's a lot of work to go in, but basically someone sat at home listening. Before we finish, I'll give you the 3 things in the morning to change your world. But yeah, I mean, silly things. Like if you get up in the morning, do the toast before the coffee, do the coffee before the toast. You're changing a pattern away from the norm that we do every single day. We travel to work, try going a different way. It's the little, if you go to this gas station, go to the gas station around the corner for a change. It's the little things that start breaking them cycles up, because to put in a word, depression, PTSD, all that stuff is real layman now, guys. Is having more self-sabotage neural pathways than you do self-care neural pathways. That's what it is. So the idea is to get, when we're in that cycle of old thinking, where we're in that cycle of living in the past, 300 neural pathways-ish die every single day in the brain. So the question I ask people is, what are you replacing them with? Are you replacing them with the trauma, with the depression? In other words, nothing's going to change. Or have you treated the childhood trauma, because everybody has it, and repaired the part of the brain that takes you there? And then neural pathways are exciting every day. You're doing new things. You're getting goals. You're building businesses. You're getting your kids. Whatever it is, you've got to start moving forward. Because when anybody with any kind of illness pertaining to the depression, psych illnesses, when we stagnate, we die. We've got to keep forward all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I love continually challenging myself. And I was doing the cold plunge for a while, and I kind of got out of it. It's winter time, it's cold. It was like 42 degrees here this morning. But I told myself, I need to do it. My legs are a little tight, my calves, from walking. I've been doing like 15,000 steps a day. And so I just told myself I'm going to do it. It's cold, but I'm just going to go in and do it. And I went in this morning, and then I froze my ass off, and I'm still trying to warm up now. You can see I'm wearing my hoodie, but it's like you're saying, changing things up, I think is really, really important.
Has to happen. I mean, I like you kind of, if you go on a holiday and the first thing you do is look for a gym, then you've got a fucking problem, guys. But if you can maintain it. So I've lost 157 pounds in the last 18 months. So I'm literally in the gym every day. Yeah. But it's a repetition. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm in the gym till 8 o'clock with my trainer, and that's it. I don't think of anything else to do with the gym all day. It's just when you get something like that to start the routine, it changes your world. So if you haven't got discipline, you're not going to be successful in anything that you do. Father, marriage, relationship, you are not going to be successful. And that's what most people with psych problems fall into. is they fall into that going back to old thinking. You know, I had a patient the other day said to me, "Hey, I've dropped back into old behavior." And I said, "Say that again." He said, I started acting out old behavior. I said, "Well, if you're acting out old behavior, guess what? It's current behavior." And he sat there and looked at me and went, "Holy shit." I said, "You can't do
Oh
that."
shit.
An excuse is not, "I'm acting out old." Stop that shit. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Right.
Because they've allowed that routine to fall. I tell my patients to write down 5 things every day that they're going to complete. Now, it might be gym, dinner, walk the dog. It makes no difference. The 5 things I'm going to do, that's going to happen. Now, I might do a million things that day, but if the 5 things are checked off every day, then my brain starts to go, "Oh, God, I like this winning stuff. I'm focused on this win. I'm not focused on the other shit." Because the law of attraction is not what you think it is, guys. It really isn't. If you, this is how the universe works, or God, or whatever you want to put in that brackets. There is, you can have anything you want to have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people go, "That's not possible." Really?
Not if you talk like
homelessness. I come from a homelessness, and again, money's not everything. But I was the highest paid doctor in Texas for the last 2 years. So from homeless, that you can have anything you want to have. I'm talking about surgeons and everything. You can have anything you want to have. And years ago, when I used to say that to patients, "Well, I can't be president of the United States." Let's forget your political views for a second. We had a freaking business and run the country for 4 years with no political experience whatsoever. Don't dare tell me you can't achieve your dreams. Guys, it's just not true. And that's all facts. I want to apologize to you because somebody's put that there. Somebody said to you at an early age that you'll never amount to, and waste of time, you're too stupid, or here's idiot face. Well, all them little things around us that we take on board to the subconscious brain, and that becomes our core belief. Once it becomes our core belief, you will never succeed in anything.
So how do people get better at being more determined and being able to drive through and do things that they didn't think they could do?
You got to ask yourself 2 questions. What's your niche in life? What do you want to do? Are you in a dead-end job you don't like? Change it. Are you in a relationship where every single night you go home and it's walking on eggshell? Change it. But it's not that easy. Fucking really is that easy. So stop that shit. And secondly is, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
That's the question. How bad do you want to be where you are and do how bad do you want it? And the answer will come. If you, "Well, I want to do it, but I'm not to." Stop. If you believe that you can't do it, then you can't do it. If you believe you can, then you can. The mind runs the brain. Hence the saying, mind is energy, okay? When it connects with another energy and neural pathways that change, your DNA changes, you're not the same person, okay? So mind over the brain is matter. Mind over matter. That's where it comes from, the saying. But what if we could program the mind every morning to have a fantastic day and succeed? Well, you can. That's what we do. You can. Yeah. It's 100%.
Yeah, that's definitely powerful. I mean, it sounds like the common term, positive affirmations, and just putting, setting some goals and driving to accomplish those goals throughout the day.
Yeah, and you have to complete. If you do, like I say, make them easy goals to start with. But if you do 4 out of 5, you lost the day, man. Go drink or something. Go do something. You've lost it. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to want this. This is, for a lot of people in the situation we're in, this is a life or death situation, man. That's it. It's a life or death situation. And a lot of people don't know that. They go, "I'll have a choice." You don't have a choice. If you're an alcoholic and addict, if you're depressed, if you have PTSD, the choice has been taken away from you. And if you have alcoholism, then the hypothalamus hijacks you and tells you to drink. So you don't have a choice. So discipline keeps us out of trouble. Discipline keeps the mind and the brain focused and direct. Every thought pattern that comes in has to be positive. Get rid of the people around you that say, "Oh, you can't do this." Or like somebody said the other day, I swear to God, somebody said the other day to me, Josh, he said, "Hey, Rob, I see you're putting a little bit of weight on." No, I'm joking, man. He's gone. I don't need him in my life because that negative force, my subconscious brain will love that. It loves getting all this shit like that to kill me. So I don't surround myself with them people. Whether you're 5 years old or 500 years old, you need to be validated and approved of what you do on a daily basis. And if you're not, you're hanging around the wrong guys.
Right. Yeah, the people you're around makes a big difference.
Show
How
me your
can
friends, I'll show you
people,
your future.
right? Yeah, I've heard that before. It's a great saying. How can people get better at being more disciplined?
Well, the 5 things in the morning will get you disciplined easy. It really will. And don't, please, if you have the addictive personality or an alcoholic, I know what you're going to do. You're going to start, save the world, build a bit. Stop it. 5 easy things that you do every day. Getting in. If you want to get into the gym, do twice a week. Don't do 7 days, because that's going to
Mm,
it's like New Year's resolutions never work,
oh
because
man.
all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. And after about 3 days, it's like, fuck that. It's like slowly
Yeah.
but surely, because your mind wants to self-sabotage. So anything you do to excess will be self-sabotage, and it won't last long when it comes to behavior patterns. So start
Yeah.
slow, man. Have a goal and start slow. Like, we've had thousands of people here who are manual jobs. Da, 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 and they wanted to go into senior manager and better themselves. Every single one has. Because the secret, no, not secrets, but the work we do, that's what we do, man. I mean, anybody can do it. So, set your days out. So at the night time, write the 5 things down. Don't write
Mhm.
100 things or 6 things, 5 things down. And then just have an idea of what the day's going to look like. And don't step away from that. Like, I am blessed just because of who I am and what we do and stuff. I get my day sent to me at 8 p.m. tonight. I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. But 8 o'clock tonight, my day will come in. So I do that. So if I have my day today, I know what I'm doing. So if one of my friends calls up and goes, Rob, quick, I need you. My car's broken down. No, I can't do that. I can
Yeah.
do it tomorrow. I can't do it today. Oh, man, what kind of friend are you? Yeah, I'm a smart friend that's not dying today, is
You
who
got
I
your
am.
shit together.
Got my shit
Yeah.
together. Not going to break my pattern for nobody. Because if I come running to, here's a prime example, guys. So your friend calls you up at night time. It's 10 o'clock. Hey, Billy, what's going on? Oh, man, my taxis, they haven't got the booking. I don't know what to do. I've got to leave the house at 4 o'clock. Okay, Billy, I'll come and pick you up. Oh, thanks, Rob, man, thanks. So I get there, but I get to his house late because there's been an accident around the corner. So we get to
Mhm.
the airport late, and he ends up missing his flight. Who does he blame? He don't
You.
blame the airlines, he blames me. So the boundaries are really strict with me. It's like, I'm not,
Mm,
why are you blaming me for that shit? So that's where uh, no good deed comes from. It's like we put
yeah.
ourselves out there to do stuff, or, it's like, why? You have your friends, treat them well, and everyone else doesn't matter, man. Get rid of the noise around you. There's too much
Yeah.
noise around people. There's always one person in your family or close friends that want you to fail. Find out who it
Mm,
is, get rid of him or her.
yeah. Definitely boundaries are really critical. Making sure you're taking care of yourself first and
Yes,
then helping others when you can. But, you can't help fill up other people's cups unless your cup is already full. And working
correct.
out, taking care of addiction, eating right, all that stuff goes a long way. So what are your
Exactly.
thoughts? What are your thoughts on the rise of behavioral addiction related to like social media and video games?
Well, it's crazy, is what it is for a start, because you look at our social medias today. I had a patient the other day, and I asked him, how many friends have you got? You seem lonely, man. Oh, I've got 5,000 friends. 5,000? Yeah, on Facebook, got like 5,000 friends.
Oh yeah, on
I hate to
Facebook.
tell you this, but you're plugged into the fucking wall. All right. You have no social skills. You have no communication skills. The internet's not there. There's no 4 chemicals every day that need to happen in your brain. Is not happening. How many real friends have you got? So there's that. Okay. We're breaking away from society. What's the easiest way to make somebody go insane? Well, you isolate them. You ask on death row. We did our research on
Mm,
death row when I was doing a big TV program. 90% of people who ended up in the chair or hospital injection were insane. So there's that, and then you come over COVID. So not only did they isolate us, but they took our
mm,
identity off us.
right.
So
I was going to
from
bring up
that,
the lockdowns. Yeah.
yeah. So the social media, boom, and then you look at the problems from that, and it's like, like liquor sales went up by 22%. Divorces went up by 16%. I mean, it's just crazy, absolutely
Wild.
crazy. So you've got to be smart about this stuff, guys. A little bit of something is okay. But like I said before, I go to the gym every day, and that's great, man. That's really good. But if you're going on vacation with your wife and the children, and the first thing you do when you land at the airport is look for the nearest gym, then that's not good, man. That's not what you might as well keep using. You're not with the family. So I
Right.
just hate that saying, get a balance, but it's so true. Your children growing up, you'll never get this time with them. So if you're at the gym for 5 hours a day, guess what? You're missing out on the childhood. You really are. And we haven't got time.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks there's time, but you don't have time, man. We did our research on the hospice patients, and the biggest one we got is I thought I had more time. We don't have time. If you can think why, your time has to be valuable, guys. I don't care if you sweep the roads or whether CEO that's earning $2 billion a year. Your time has to become vital to you and important to you. So don't waste your time around people, and don't waste your time around people that's not lifting you up. You can't do that, guys. Learn behavior and enmeshment and the mirroring part of the brain. Monkey see, monkey do. I was sent to a zoo from my professor for a year. I freaking hated that man for that. But I had to study the chimpanzees and the apes and stuff. And when you study them, you realize that nurturing family or wife or husband is very important. Now, I know these days, if you're married, both of you have to work to afford the rent and mortgage. I get that. But when you get up at night time, you need to nurture them kids and nurture your relationship. Because looking back in all the childhood trauma that's happening today and happening in my life that I didn't think was trauma, but it was huge, is anything less than nurturing, because the child is child abuse. So if your kid's coming home from school at 4 o'clock and you stick him on a computer until 9 p.m. and then put him to bed, I'm sorry, guys. Well, first of all, I'll show you a future addict. But secondly, that's not nurturing. If you haven't got time to love and nurture your kids, you shouldn't fucking happen.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the fan mail you're going to get now? That mother.
I don't read the comments, so we're all good. But at this point in the podcast,
Josh,
we're not getting too many.
Yeah. I've stopped doing that. I've never watched myself on TV. I've never watched any podcasts. I've never read my book. It's just like there's always one person, sat in his parents' bedroom, 55 years old, not doing shit with his life, that wants to tell me, a multi-millionaire with 5 businesses, how to run my life. It's like when I see these guys, I booked up for Tony Robbins. Oh, that's amazing, man. Yeah. Or I booked up to go and see Jimmy Blammer. He's a mentor. He's like a millionaire stuff. And it's like, how many have you been going? I've been going 5 years now. Are you a millionaire? Well, no. Why the fuck are you going? I don't get it. Or follow him home. The guy that's telling you how to earn $1 million gets in a 12-year-old car. He drives home to a one-bedroom broken apartment. Has got no money. Why are you taking advice from him? I'm paying $200 for the privilege. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why the last half of the slogan of the podcast is cutting through the bullshit. I like to get real and not dick around with stuff that doesn't work, and definitely taking advice from people that haven't done it is dumb. What inspired you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Josh, you go.
What inspired you to work in the field of addiction?
There was alcoholism in my family, but we didn't know that. You try. This is the hard part about tracing alcoholism back, guys. If you're going to trace it back, is watch out for grandfather like to drink. Watch out for that phrase. He's a staunch alcoholic. But listen, guys, alcoholism is the only self-diagnosed illness in the world. 10 DUIs and not make you an alcoholic. So you've got to really, really look at the surroundings and look at the message around you, and look at the source. You've always got. So I grew up, took my first drink at the age of 9. I was on stage with my musical family playing bass guitar at 9 years old. I took my first drink, and for me, looking back, that was it. That's when the ticking time clock started. So I went through college, drinking weekend, and it become Tuesday through, and it become Monday, and it was 7 days a week, and then it was night times, and then gradually it took over. It becomes all day, and then I'm drinking at 5:30 in the morning to get me through the day, and all that happened, and I have two kids, young babies, and I've got a wife and brand new cars and big houses, and I'm doing really well from the outside, looking pretty good. But from the inside, I was dying of untreated alcoholism, and eventually I lost everything and become homeless.
Wow.
And that 97% of people in Manchester who are on the streets die on the streets. There's only 3% gets off and makes something of themselves. So I had a huge spiritual awakening one morning, and I came over to America 18 years ago to Dallas, Texas, to do a seminar, like 4 speaking gigs over a period of 2 weeks, and never went home. Never went home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fell in love.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was the weather was beautiful. It's always rainy in
Yeah.
Manchester, cold. So the weather makes a huge difference for me. I later went on to find that I suffer from light deprivation. So, and a lot of other people do. It's like when it's dark and rainy and cloudy outside, my mood changes.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you come to my house on a December day when it's cloudy, you'll see all the lights on inside. In my office, when I do podcasts, there's a light that I have. It's like an iPad you open. It's just lights. You can buy them off Amazon. Yeah, so that was good. And then, during the 2 weeks I was here, it was really nice. So I decided to stay. And after about a month of being here, somebody asked me to speak at an AA meeting in Austin. It's like, I've
Yeah.
never traveled more than 20 minutes to speak. Now he asked me to get in a car for 2 hours. Are you in? And the guy, we'll drive you down. We'll bring some guys with us. It'll be fun. So I went, and when I spoke there that night, which is the worst talk ever, it was pitch black. There was a security light, so every time somebody went past, I could see my book for like 20 seconds. But after that, some guy came over and said he was from FMS Productions, and they're the biggest production company for mental health. And they offered me a crazy amount of money to do a set of 3 DVDs. So all of a sudden, I've got like 100 grand in the bank account. I've never even seen 100 grand, but that's what they gave me. No royalties, just bang for being an actor that day. We shot it in one day, and with that money, I thought, I'm going to build something of myself, and that's what I did.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Not bad for a homeless guy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a great success story. And for someone struggling with addiction or supporting a loved one with addiction, what's some advice that you'd offer?
Well, first of all, if you're a guy or a girl, start dialogue with your spouse. Start dialogue first of all. That's the biggest thing. Parents, if you're suspecting your kid, 12, 13, 14 is taking drugs, and when he goes out, search his bedroom. And parents go, I can't really infringe on his privacy. Yeah, you'll find him dead if you don't one day in that bedroom. So stop the shit, stop the bullshit, or in there in time. It's all about dialogue, and it's all about AA is amazing. I got sober in AA. I don't go anymore because of the people in AA. But yeah, if that's your deal, go to AA, go to church, but start dialogue with somebody. Say, hey, I think, I might be taking too much of this, or I'm struggling, or I'm depressed. Start that dialogue, man. And for men, it's really hard, to come out and admit that you're not as strong as everybody thinks you are. And I'll tell you now, guys, okay, if you look at the programs I've been on in front of 10, 15 million live on TVs, everything I've done, okay, I'm doing well. 25% of our work is pro bono. We give 150,000 away each year, me and my wife. So, but we earn millions and millions and millions. But there's 2 days a year, for instance. It might be 3, it might be 1. Well, I get up and I'm just not good. I feel ill. I feel depressed. And what I do is attack it right there. My wife will get me to bed, give me something, to drink, give me some chocolate or something, and I stay in bed all day. The next day, it's done. It's cured. It's gone. I don't drag it on over, try and put a brave face on over the days. I just cancel it. I cancel my day, and I deal with it then. And I think, if you look at the definition of depression in the medical dictionary in America, it will say this: lack of serotonin. So, how do you get serotonin? Well, most people when they're depressed go to the doctor. He gives them an SSRI. It's a false serotonin. So you start taking this false serotonin that never makes you as happy as it said it would. What happens? You're stuck on that false serotonin for the rest of your life. And my own serotonin depletes. So you need to ask your question, why is my serotonin low in the first place? And there's tons of ways getting that serotonin up. So dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins are the four chemicals you need every day to be happy. Now, here's where it gets a bit complicated. The main two are dopamine and serotonin, and they're created in the gut. So if you're eating shit, you'll feel like shit.
Yeah, I strongly believe that.
I went to the supermarket the other day. They're making a TV thing I was doing, and we picked up this well-known brand, and it was like a health bar, and it read, and you'll know this, Josh, from your journey with fitness, is it had 9 grams of protein, I think, and 0 fat. All day long as a consumer, I'm buying that. Okay. So I picked it up, I spins it round on camera, and we go, hey, let's look what's in it. The first ingredient was canola oil.
Oh,
Canola oil will kill you. It's rancid oils, and there were 27 ingredients in there. Most of them causes an illness, a cancer in your body. Red colors, yellow colors, rancid oil, all this GMO that we're eating, to this fact that 90% of people in the country are not eating real food. If you want to get really technical, if you're buying milk from the supermarket and it's 2% milk, well, guess what? It's not milk. Cows don't produce 2% milk. You know, so we're getting up with this keep us skinny and all. It's not, man. You've got like 150 ingredients in that's making you sick. So the idea is that the food industry gets us sick, and the pharmaceutical keeps us sick, and that's the way of the world. You know, that's
real
just
sad.
it. Yeah, it is, man. You've got to look at what you're eating. I'm not asking everyone to go on a vegan diet or vegetarian. No, I'm saying one day a week, look at what you're eating. If you're buying a health bar 7 days a week, stop it for one day a week and see how you feel. You feel 100% better. I'm telling you, even in a few days, it's just we're eating rancid food. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I take the 2% milk thing even further and recommend people drink raw whole milk.
Yes, best thing you can drink if you're going to drink.
It's illegal in some places, but luckily here in California, you can buy it at some specialty food stores, and it's amazing the difference, the taste, the flavor. I mean, the energy you get from that, all that natural fat and the enzymes. It's really incredible.
Remember when milk used to be good for us? You know, the only reason it isn't good for us now is because of all the ingredients they put in. You know, that's not milk we're drinking. So you go back to anything that we used to have, and it all comes back down to a tobacco company that realized that cigarettes were going to hit the low and they're going to get sued. So they bought a food company, a huge food company, okay? And then what they did, they were the first people to start putting artificial shit in our food, okay? So the corn industry and all that just grew and grew and grew, artificial like this, and grew. And you look at the food today and it's just not food.
It's amazing how I have all these conversations with all these different people about many different topics, and it almost always comes back to food.
Well, you look at McDonald's fries,
nutrition, and fitness.
McDonald's fries are probably, some people say, the worst things you can eat. So let's look at McDonald's fries, where the salad at McDonald's got more ingredients than a hamburger and fries. So let's look at the fries. Okay, in England, there are 3 ingredients. There's potatoes, there's water, and there's salt. In McDonald's fries in America, there's 19 ingredients.
Wow. It's insane. And they used to fry the French fries in tallow, but now they use, I don't know what they use. They use some kind of vegetable oil. That's horrible for us.
It's the vegetable. You need 4 oils in your life. I can't remember what they are right now, but canola oil, like olive oil, and avocado oil, and a good ghee butter. That's it. That's all you need. Don't we buy this stuff because we think it's healthy. You know?
I mean, I'd argue that tallow and lard are also good too, but those are more fats than oils. But I digress.
We don't know what we don't know. Yeah. So when people that are telling the truth, they get shut up. Like I'm on my TikTok every morning. I don't have a lot of followers because a lot of people don't like to hear what I have to say, which is raw about addiction and food and pharmaceutical companies. But I can bet you that I must have been banned, especially when I mentioned pharmaceutical companies giving backhanders to doctors, which goes on. I've seen it. I know it goes on. Then I was going to get a ban for 2 days. and restricted, so we're
Yeah.
fucked no matter what. You can't get the news out there, you
Yeah. I
know.
mean, I think this is the only way doing podcasts, being real, just straight up and just putting it out there for people to try to find and learn. It's really a shame,
Without a doubt.
the news is
Yeah,
all fake and
yeah,
the social media is, people get banned for saying real things. With COVID, it's another great example. People were saying, that the death rate was, 3.4% or whatever. And then I think, Trump said it was 1%. And after all these years, we found out that it was way less than 1%.
yeah.
And it's really sad. But luckily, there's people out there like Elon Musk. He bought Twitter, changed it to X, and they're not censoring people anymore, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Um, but it's yeah, I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can hopefully hold on to our freedom of speech and get
Yeah.
the real news out there for people to listen to and digest on their own.
Yeah, look at the past health minister years ago. It was just a woman who weighed 280 pounds trying to tell us how to eat healthy. Now, and I'm not into politics whatsoever, but look at Kennedy. He's been put in a position of the health minister. Have you seen that guy's body? That's what I'm talking about.
He's
And
looking pretty
the first
ripped
thing is
for an
to do
older
man
fellow.
pharmaceutical comment from advertising on TV. That's the first thing, and then we're going to look at the foods
Yeah,
and seeing what sort of shit that they're selling us and killing us. Can
yeah.
only be a
Just
good thing.
like you were saying earlier, you don't want to follow people's advice that haven't, had done the
Exactly.
work. And you know, these doctors, they're not looking their best. And I think the last, health administrator wasn't a very healthy person. And
No,
I think we're going in
no,
the right direction. I'm really excited for that.
yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah. So let's get into trauma a little bit. What are some common misconceptions about trauma?
Trauma is uh, a divorce, a car crash, parent dying, sister dying, a death of some kind. No, it's not. It goes way deeper than that, man. Like way deeper than that. And it stings from caregivers or parents or teachers that said something here's mine. One of my biggest ones is on a Friday night, my mum and dad used to go out for a beer and get drunk, go home, sleep it off. So they would drop me at my their friends,
Hmm.
and the next morning they pick me up, which they were happy with. Every time, what they didn't know and what I thought was normal is every time they dropped me off, we when the car pulled up the driveway, then adults would go, "Okay, we're now playing the run around naked game," and they would tickle us, and we just thought that was normal. We didn't. How can the
Wow.
kid compare that to anything else? So the
Right.
effect and trauma on me was I suffered with intimacy. I would not, even when I was bodybuilder, I was a champion bodybuilder back in the day. I would never take my top off. I would never take a top off at the pool. I'd always keep something
Mm.
on because I was just disgusted with my body. So getting
Wow.
undressed took me right back to that trauma. And that's what people don't know. I come in, we had one guy, a patient of mine, and his dad was mean. And this guy's about 40, and this happened when he was about 15. And
Hmm.
what he used to do when the birthdays come around, the daughters would get $50, and he would
Yeah.
get 20, and that was it. We did that all his life,
Mm.
until he left home. And what we figured out is that $20 made him feel less than and not part of the
Hmm.
family and talking down and all. And he suffered with that most of his life. So is it a quick fix? Well, yeah, I mean, we do some trauma work with them, but on one day I was sat and he was telling me this story, and I secretly text my wife and said, put $50 in an envelope, don't mark it, bring it in between papers so this patient can't see it. And she did, and I'm sat there and he's crying about this $20. And this guy's a fantastic guy, he's successful, but he's just lacking in something. And
Yeah.
after he finished telling me, he's drying his eyes, and I leant over to him, his chair, and I give him this envelope. And he says, just wiping his eyes, "Oh, fuck, is this an invoice for a bill or something?" I don't know, open it up. And as he opened it up, there was $50 in there. And instantly, he knew his worth. He wasn't a $20 guy, he was a $50 guy, just like his sisters today.
Wow.
He broke down. He will tell you that story, Josh, or tell anybody every time he talks about that story. Because now he runs this absolutely amazing clinic and gym, neuroscience gym, that's changing the world. But if that $50 wouldn't have happened, he could have been stuck there for most of his life.
It's such a simple act. Made such a big difference. That's so incredible.
Yeah, and that's the stuff. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll just sweep it under the carpet. Don't anybody know what happens inside this house? Oh, you're just an idiot. Stop moaning about it. Get over it. Get it. That's the worst. Get over it, will you? My priest
Right.
molested me. And when I told my mom and dad well, my mom, not my dad. When I told my mom he molested me, do you know what she did? She hit me repeatedly on the backside with a wooden shoe and sent me to
Wow.
bed, and I couldn't eat that. I couldn't get any dinner that night or supper. And I got up next morning, he was never mentioned. And he
Wow.
went through most of his life, and at the end, he was asked to leave, and nobody knew. But that was it. There's the trauma, you know.
That's yeah, that's incredible. I mean, for stuff like that to happen and you know,
Yeah, man, it's
and
horrible.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I wanted to get into, somatic experiencing and how that relates to trauma and addiction. Can you get into that a little bit for us?
So there's a great book out there called, I think it's called The Body Keeps Count or The Body Keeps Score. Everything that happens to us is stored in our central nervous system, in our subconscious brain. And if anybody's seen a deer being hit by a car but not dead, what the deer does is very interesting. Okay, so we studied this. So the deer gets hit, he's lying on the road, but he's alive. He's just kind of shocked him. He'll lay there for a few seconds and then he'll get to his feet. What he'll do then is absolutely amazing. He will shake violently for a couple of seconds. He's just shook off that trauma. So the next day, he could
Literally.
cross in the same road with the same car, get hit again. He'd forgotten about the first one. Human beings don't do that. We keep
Mm,
all that stuff. So what somatic experience is that's been around for hundreds of years, become popular again, is it looks at the body. It looks at the
mhm,
trauma in the body that we keep storing, and you listen to your body. And a great example of that is body and behavioral science. Is what we specialize in. We're kind of neuroscientists and behavioral scientists. We look at depression and all PTSD, and especially alcohol and drug addiction, and the body will tell you at least 3 to 4 days before you relapse. The body gives signs out. You'll act different. You'll do something different. The body will tell you, and that's why we have such a high success rate. Is the relapse isn't when you pick the drink or drug up, guys. The relapse is on
mm,
before, because alcoholism will never come to me on a Friday and go, "Hey, Rob, let's have a drink." It never does that. It's a week before when my actions and my body changes and I'm feeling that it's gut feeling. And, it's all that stuff. So somatic experience is kind of 30% what we do, along with 9D breathwork therapy, NLP, all the great stuff, psychology stuff. But
mhm.
yeah, somatic experience, let's listen to our body. What's our body telling us? Because it will every time, man. It will every time. But we don't take any notice. It's like the gut feeling. Everyone just says it as a joke. When you go back to the tribal days, man, and that gut feeling was real. Like when there was danger there, somebody in that tribe would have a gut feeling of something wrong. So they either got prepared to fight or they moved location. We don't listen to the gut feeling. It's always right. Always right.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like we've lost that wisdom to listen to our bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I got a million more questions for you. I'm really fascinated about, everything we're talking about. But I know you got to get going. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Well, we definitely have to do another podcast, me and you,
Yes.
and then bang it out for
Love
like
that.
2 hours. That'd be awesome. Yeah,
That'd be
guys. The
great.
first thing is you have to realize that you can do anything, be anything you want. Okay, that's how powerful the mind is. If you want to earn 50 grand a year and you're earning 20, hang around the guys that earn 50 grand a year. Okay, again, monkey see, monkey do. If you hang around
Mm,
friends that are not doing anything with their life, if you hang around 9 depressed people, you will become the 10. it's really important you understand enmeshment and learned behavior, because what happens is we take them traits on and we don't know we've taken them traits on. Most people, because of the trauma and the traits and the learned behavior, let's say he starts his own business, he'll just start making progress and he will self-sabotage that subconsciously. It's like when a girl leaves the house that's grew up with dad coming over every few days drunk and beating mom up physically with the fists, and then next day they hear them say, I love you, I'm sorry, I love you. She believes that's love. So when she goes out and leaves the house, she will attract the same guy that ends up being violent to her and possibly drinking a lot. To the extent that if she meets a good guy, she will self-sabotage that relationship subconsciously because it doesn't feel right. So hang around the people you want to be. Try and compliment 3 people every day. One of the reasons why nobody's woke up laughing in the morning is lack of oxygen. Oxygen is the lack of oxygen equals, the presence of oxygen equals the lack of disease. Every disease, including cancer and everything else, growth, whatever it is, growing at hypoxic air with the body. We only breathe 45% of our lung capacity. The only reason you feel good going to the gym, it's not the exercise, it's this in between. Oxygen. So get up in the morning tomorrow, guys. Stand near something, hold on, or sit on the bed. I want you to take 20 exaggerated breaths in and out. Do that 20 times. Now we're filling every single cell in the body with oxygen. Go into the bathroom. If you brush your teeth with your right, do it left for a week, right for a week, left for a week, right for a week, for 4 weeks.
Changing patterns, yeah.
Every day. And then stand in the mirror, not close because we see all our blemishes. When you stand 6 feet away, the blemish goes, and say, I love you 10 times. I love you. I love you. It's silly. It's stupid. It's embarrassing, but we're stuck in the subconscious brain. Okay. So when them neural pathways die, we're replacing them with I love you. I love you. Because if you don't love yourself, you'll never succeed. If you don't love yourself, you can never love others. And if you don't love yourself, you're going to die a miserable death. Boom, baby.
I love you, Dr. Robb. I think this was fucking amazing. This was an incredible conversation. How can people get your book again? How do they get in touch with you?
It's on Amazon. It's the last thing my daughter said to me, which next time Josh will get into. Really sad story. And then she came back into my life 30 years later, 4 years ago, she came back in my life. She's now my lead therapist. So the last thing she said to me was, Daddy, please stop drinking at the age of 3, maybe 4.
Wow.
So the book's called Daddy, Please Stop Drinking. Go find it, then come find me. Messages on the website or any social medias, Dr. Robb Kelly. If you're listening, it's 2 B's, ROBBKELLY.com. You can message us there. Tell us your name, tell us your address. I'll sign it. I'll pay for the shipping. On one condition, you give it to somebody else when you finish reading it. That's the only condition. So RobbKelly.com, any websites, social medias, we're all on it. Just put my name in, Dr. Robb Kelly, and up I'll pop. Come see us, come and like us. And if you are a parent of children that are going through something like alcoholism or addiction, we have an offer for you. You can call the number on the website and you can speak to my girls, my educated recovered alcoholic or drug addict girls, as long as you want. It's free advice for parents for as long as if you keep us on the phone 8 hours a day, we don't give a shit. We just want to help.
That's amazing. You're doing fantastic work. I really appreciate your time today, Dr. Kelly. And yeah, that's it. Bye, everybody.